Hello, my name is Will, this is the Bald Book Geek, and this is the Male Booktuber Tag. The Male Booktuber Tag is a tag that I think is quite important, especially in this community. And I've done the tag before, a lot's changed since. So the community has changed, stuff has happened, people have changed, and that's what I want to talk about here. There was also a video made by a booktuber who I'm not going to name. She basically made a whole thing and she ranted about how it was sexist and how men only shouting out men in the Male Booktuber Tag, and how men have nothing to worry about and how it's all in our heads and how we get the same attention. Oh honey, you're wrong. But Booktube has changed drastically in the last 12 months, for the better and worse. I wanted to revisit this tag and talk about what's changed, the whens, the whats and the whys. So this is question 1. Do you think there is a lack of male booktubers? If so, why? Yes. The people that I really love on Booktube, I'd like to say my Booktube viewing is kind of 50-50 between guys and girls. But I think a lot of it is the public face of Booktube is young women in their mid-20s talking about books for teenagers and children. There is nothing wrong with that. Read what makes you happy. That's what I always say. I think also the reading divide between men and women, and I also think the taste in reading. Like, men aren't going to be going gaga over a new John Green book or some YA fantasy about a cardboard cutout heroine who just happens to be in love, everyone's in love with her. You know, if they're reading hard science fiction, or they're reading horror, or they're reading, I don't know, Stephen King, or biographies, this stuff is not as widely visible on Booktube. It's not that it's not there, it's just not as seen as much. And that's what I've noticed. Like, you do have to do digging to find the content you want. The stuff that gets a lot of views tends to be the most vacuous content, and the people in the community that get the most attention and are the loudest tend to be the people with less to say. And that goes for men and women. You've seen Book Twitter? So I do think that's part of the reason. I just think people get off-putted. And I know a lot of people that started channels and just quit because they just didn't grow. They just couldn't get their channels to grow. And I think that's really tragic. And again, that goes for men and women. Just because you're an attractive girl talking about YA doesn't mean your channel is going to be successful. There is a certain Booktube stereotype that is very prevalent, and it's the stereotype that tends to get the most attention. That might just be YouTube's algorithm though. You know what that's like. Broken as hell. 2. Would you like to see more male booktubers, and why? Yes. I completely and utterly think the gates of the community opened up. A lot happened. People have come out, and the male booktubers are progressively coming in. I think it's a different reading thing. I think it's the gap in reading again. It's what we're reading, it's how we're reading, it's the content we are consuming and watching is fundamentally different. I think the more different and the more colourful and the brighter Booktube is, the better it will be. That's just me being honest there. Like, I think we need more channels. And this is across the board. I think we need more channels that are not just talking about YA all the time. More visible channels. There's loads of channels that aren't talking about YA, but they're not particularly visible. Again, I don't know if that's just what the viewers want, or it's just what YouTube is suggesting to people. 3. How do you think we as a book community can attract more males to Booktube? I don't actually know. I think that's partly in the hands of what we watch. Like, if you watch a lot of book hauls or wrap-up videos, that's what YouTube is going to suggest to you. If you watch certain types of content creator, YouTube is going to suggest those to you as well. I find, like, I watched a book haul by someone that I really like, and all I got for the next week until I started, after that one video, was just endless book hauls by people I don't care about. I'm not interested in this stuff. So it's like, I think it's partly what we're watching and partly YouTube. But I think just, if it was easier to find the content that people wanted to see, because it does exist, it is there, it's just we have to dig for it. And it's making it easier and more accessible. But that's just me, so. 4. Do you think having more males on Booktube will enhance the Booktube experience? I think this question is kind of a strange one. So yes, I think having more people, full stop, not just males, black reviewers, Asian reviewers, Japanese reviewers, you know, Italian reviewers, Greek reviewers, French reviewers, people from around the world more, because also language is a divide on Booktube, which is a problem. There is a few foreign booktubers that I love that I watch with subtitles. I'm lucky that I can speak French with 2 of them. I don't have to, but I mean, other than that, I know some basic Hebrew and I know some Spanish. European Spanish rather than... Yes, Spain is a country in Europe, by the way. It's funny how many Americans don't know that. But in the whole big scheme of things, like, I think just more people in general would enhance the booktube experience. I think the basic booktuber stereotype is very real, and I think it's negative. That the idea that you can't have a critical opinion, or an opinion that doesn't quite match everyone else's. There's sort of this group mentality that we all must think the same, and I really hate it with a passion. It's like my pet peeve, like a group mentality that if you don't fit into this stereotype, you kind of get ignored, or if you have a negative opinion about a book that everyone loves, you're considered a troll, or you tend to just get ignored, you know, or it's seen as attention seeking, which I think is tragic. So I think there is an issue across the board with diversity on BookTube, and I'm thinking of booktubers that I watch, and it's like it's a shame that these booktubers aren't getting more attention. Check the gender divide of your viewers in your analytics. So this one I know. So my viewership is 47 point something male and the rest is female. And my viewership is also 18 to about 25. Actually 18, 25 up to about 35. My age group, rather than younger. I get a very small percentage of younger viewers and a small percentage of older viewers, but my viewers are in the middle. I'm not surprised more women watch me. That's just what I've picked up on the people I interact with. Again, like the people on Twitter that I talk to a lot are female booktubers. So, who am I going to mention? So I've got to name a few of my favourite male booktubers. I'm going to name myself because ego stroking. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to talk about people that I really like, just general, and this is all to do with their books. This is just to do with what they read and what they do. So Dame Reads, I like him. He's a British booktuber. He's cool. He's chill. I like his stuff. A.G. McDonald, I mean, he's our saviour of booktube. He's like my favourite booktuber ever. I'm sorry, but he is. Ghost Reader, who is intelligent, switched on, really cool. There's Ben Sanders. There's Strip Cover Lit. There's Plots and Points. Oh my god, where else do we go? I mean, there are countless people. What I'm going to do is make a full list of male booktubers. I think there's one on Reddit, and I'm just going to try and find it and link to that because there's so many people I could mention. As always, I'm going to talk to you guys later, and tell me what you think in the comments below, because I'd be interested in getting a discussion going about this. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.